The movie Red Dust, released in 2004, is a deeply layered exploration of trauma, memory, forgiveness, and the uneasy reality of living with truth when justice doesn't come in clean lines. Hilary Swank stars as Sarah, a New York lawyer born in South Africa. She returns at the request of her mentor, Ben, to assist in a truth and reconciliation hearing. Her client is Alex Mumpondo, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, a former anti-apartheid activist turned member of parliament. The hearing centers on Dirk Hendricks, portrayed by Jamie Bartlett, a former police officer seeking amnesty for acts of torture that he committed during apartheid. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission, or TRC, was a real institution in post-apartheid South Africa. It offered amnesty to those who confessed to politically motivated crimes in exchange for full and honest disclosure. Its goal wasn't retribution, it was truth as a means to begin healing. What Red Dust does so well is avoid preaching. It doesn't tell you whether this process was right, just, or even enough. Instead, it presents human beings. Damaged, defensive, courageous, and conflicted, and invites you to sit with the discomfort. Sarah grapples with a legal system that doesn't offer verdicts she's used to. Alex is forced to relive trauma of his torture, and is haunted by the fear that he may have broken under that torture, and given up the name of a friend. And Dirk insists he was simply following orders. The film trusts you to form your own ideas about each of their stories as they unfold. One of the film's most powerful elements is its treatment of forgiveness. This isn't a sweeping cinematic resolution. It's forgiveness as a lived, complicated, often painful process. One of the most difficult layers of the story is that, despite all Alex endured, not everyone in his community sees him as a hero. There's a heavy silence around the possibility that he cracked under torture. His suffering doesn't guarantee him sympathy, and one character even reminds Alex of what they used to do to traitors. It's a chilling truth. Trauma doesn't always earn grace, and forgiveness isn't a given, even for victims, especially when a community has endured so much fear and violence. What I admire most is how the film handles its emotional weight with restraint. Big moments aren't forced, they unfold naturally. There's a moment where Alex revisits long repressed memories, unlocking details crucial to his case. It suggests that his fear of the past was the very thing preventing him from accessing the truth. It's subtle, but transformative. And once the full, yet still messy, truth comes to light, the weight begins to lift for Alex. It will always be a burden, but now he can see it for what it is. And then comes one of the film's quietest, most poignant moments. Near the end, Sarah reflects on her own past, how as a teenager she was jailed for dating a black peer who later died in custody. Compared to what happened to Alex, she says, it always felt insignificant.
I always felt what happened to me was such a small thing compared to what happened to you, but...
You think I don't know that? We have the right to say that it hurt.
That line captures the film's heart. Pain isn't a competition. In a nation reckoning with collective trauma, individual wounds still deserve space. And Red Dust doesn't wrap things up neatly. Some characters may never find peace. And honestly, how could they? This isn't a feel-good movie, which is usually a turn-off for me. But there's enough hope, quiet, hard-earned hope, to balance the sorrow. There's beauty in what some of the characters have done and continue to do for themselves and their communities, even at their own risk. And that, in its own way, is beautiful. There's no final judgment on the TRC, but there is a message. In a fractured society, coexisting with people you can't forgive may be part of the cost of moving forward. And sometimes, the most radical act isn't revenge. It's simply choosing to keep living.